myself a pretty fun pedal to test out right now. This is the Octafuzz, and it's made by a company called Fulltone, which was founded in the 80s by a guy called Michael Fuller, and his intention was to replicate some vintage classic pedals, and he started with a fuzz face, which was a favorite distortion pedal of Jimi Hendrix's, and he moved on to a pedal called the Octavia, which you will recognize in Hendrix songs like Purple Haze, and it's been used by people like Stevie Ray Vaughan and other guitarists as well, and it adds extra octaves on top of what you're playing. And you know, I always thought for the longest time that seems a little bit excessive. How often are you going to really use that effect? But one of my guitar teachers this semester when I was studying, he brought one of those in. We were going to do Purple Haze in one of the sessions. He brought this pedal in, and I just loved the versatility of it and the sound it brought, and I just thought, sure, I want one of these. So this Octafuzz, it combines the fuzz and the octave, so you can just use it as a straight distortion pedal or fuzz pedal, or you can combine the fuzz with the octave up. And it does this weird thing where, in addition to just giving you the upper octaves, it does a weird kind of, I guess what you call a ring modulation effect. So if you play combined notes, a couple of notes together, or if you're bending a string, it does something kind of weird. And sometimes you're bending the string, it's almost like while you're bending the note up, there's another note going down. You play a chord, it does something totally bizarre. So it does a range of pretty cool things, and I wanted to just play around with it today and show you some of the cool sounds, and I haven't even begun to use this thing to the fullest extent. It can be kind of subtle. It's definitely distinguishable and noticeable in there, even though it's a little bit subtle when the boost isn't too high. One thing my guitar teacher was telling me is you can get a kind of a sitar style sound if you pick closer to the bridge pickup. Definitely hear that kind of harsher effect. And as I was saying, when you combine a couple of notes, it does something pretty cool too. It does a kind of a ring modulation thing. And trying to play a chord on this is just bizarre. So let's give it a little more boost. Take the boost up to halfway. Boost even further up, just about 3/4. just so characteristic and so distinctive. Now, would you use that? Would you use that on all of your solos? Probably not, but there's something about it which is just, it's really tasty. It's hard to understand what the hell is going on with the sound. It's not like it's just putting a straight octave on top of what you're doing. At least that's not what it sounds like to me. It's not like I'm playing the open E string and getting the 12th fret there, just an octave on top. It sounds kind of a little bit less scientific than that, but it's just giving a really otherworldly quality to the sound. And taking the boost all the way up. It does say in the instructions that the boost, the fuzz kind of cleans itself up a little bit when you roll back on the volume control of the guitar. So having the volume at 10 and then rolling that back a little bit just to clean up the fuzz gives you some sort of control over how manic the sound is. With the volume at 10, it does sound pretty manic and it's pretty blistering. It's a little bit crazy, but backing off on the volume and touch, it does clean up pretty quickly. So I've backed off from 10 to 8 and instantly it's just not as manic. It's still definitely there. even if I'm not exactly sure precisely what settings I should have for that solo, just bringing the boost up quite a bit and rolling back the volume on the guitar to clean up some of the manic craziness of that fuzz. It's a lot of fun to play with, and it just gives you that nostalgic feeling of the original a little bit. Now conversely, using it with the Octa setting off and just switching it back to just straight fuzz, it gives you a pretty cool fuzzy distortion, cloudy sound. With the boost just up at about a quarter of the way and keeping the volume relatively low, you get a nice little crunchy sharpness there to your sound, which if you're playing some straight blues or what have you, it's a nice little touch without getting too distorted. But as you start to bring the boost up, crunchy, metallic, fuzzy sound. And again, if you roll the volume back just a couple of notches, it maintains a really sweet fuzz, but it just takes some of the sharpness and the metallic, crazy edge off it to a degree. Bringing the boost all the way up, it gives you this really unbelievable sustain, and it instantly wants to feed back too, which is always a nice thing when you can have a distortion pedal that's going to predictably, consistently want to give you some feedback. Bites your head off. But rolling back the volume on the guitar again, it just makes it more manageable, but still gives you this beautiful crunching feel. Boost all the way max and the octave at the same time, and it just, the sound fractures and splinters so much, it's just a long way from a straight distorted solo, and there's something seriously cool about that. So yeah, Octafuzz pedal. If you thought maybe the Hendrix solo in Purple Haze was something that you're only going to play very occasionally and that's why you shouldn't get this pedal, well, I think you're mistaken. As I have discovered, this thing can do a versatile range of sounds that are super interesting to add to a solo with the octaves, but it also can stand in as a pretty good fuzz distortion pedal even without the octaves. So something really cool to experiment with. It's the kind of thing that I really want to take to the practice space or to a live performance and unleash. There's only so much I can do here in my apartment checking it out without annoying the crap out of the neighbors, which I don't really want to do. But even at these quote-unquote bedroom volumes, I can get a great sense of how awesome this pedal is. So really recommend you picking one up. There's nothing like attempting that Hendrix solo with just a little bit more of the original tone and feel to it. It just makes it a lot more fun. Okay, that's all I got for this week. I hope you like the stuff that I post on the channel. If you do, click the like button and hit subscribe and use that bell icon so that you get a notification when I post new content. Okay, I'll see you in the next video.